Hey, it's Suze, and welcome to tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Hey, nice to see ya. Hey, I wanted to show you this book that I've talked about in some of my other videos. It's called Comparative Legal Approaches to Homeland Security and Anti-Terrorism. That is the official title of this book. It is written by James Beckman. I believe he is an attorney he's in Florida. So this is an excellent read. Now, the first time I bought this book was up in Anchorage, Alaska. I don't think I had it in Bethel at that point, but I was reading it up in Anchorage, and I was flipping through this book. Now it's got great chapters, and this is another expensive book. You know, when you get these high-end academic books, especially when it comes to terrorism, you know, I mean, my nursing books cost me a fortune. These books are the same. They cost a fortune, but it's well worth it. James Beckman, University of Tampa, Florida. So it's actually a series, a Homeland Security series. Great chapters in this book. It talks about the differences in the approaches to terrorism between different countries. So chapter 1 is the United States, chapter 2 is the United Kingdom, it talks about Germany, Spain, Russia, Japan, Israel, and then it talks about the international law components, the EU and international law considerations, and the current status of Homeland Security just in general. It is a excellent read, and that's why I said when I was reading this book, and I remember I am a victim of terrorism. Unfortunately, I dated a guy that turned out to be investigated and identified as being someone involved in such atrocities. But okay, so I'm a victim of terrorism. So I've known stuff as a victim, and then I've had to actually do some academic reading on terrorism myself. Now, I want to tell you, for many years, I didn't do that. I mean, I don't know. I can apply stuff. Okay, so when Detective Charlie Richardson, who was my neighbor in Dayton, Ohio, he wanted me to make an FBI report when he was like, well, Susan, how do you know he's like, not a terrorist, And he explained these concepts of cells, or the concept of sleeper cell terrorist, to me. I was like, oh, well, I guess, I don't know Charlie, but, so anyways, we want this FBI report made. Homeland Security Investigations arrested him, especially when Peter Lazar arrested him with Homeland Security. But anyway, so, but, like for me, you say the word terrorism, and, I just think, whoa, terrorism, okay, really big stuff. Terrorism, whoa, okay, well, definitely I would not want to keep in contact with somebody whom a detective thinks could be a terrorist, and then I reported to the FBI. So, and then especially after Homeland Security arrested him. But I mean, you say the word terrorism to me, and I'm like, whoa, no, I'm staying the hell away from him. Okay, now, but the family court. Now, this is back in 2004. The family court up in Humboldt County, California, and I believe that case number was FLO 648 or something like that. But anyway, a state court judge actually ordered me to go to mediation. So this is family court, go to mediation with a terrorist. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I mean, it was, oh my God, it was like absolutely the most horrible thing. I had to actually fight for it to be separate. Okay, so we were court ordered to go to mediation twice. A state court judge, Humboldt County, California, ordered me to mediate with a terrorist. Not kidding. So the first time, I had to say, please do it separate. And then the second time that they tried this, of course I said I'm not going to agree. I mean, anybody with any brains is not going to agree with a terrorist. Okay, so especially when he's trying to hightail, your kid to a foreign country. So especially, to Iran. But, and then, later on, about a year or two later, we got court ordered into mediation again. By that time I was in Nevada, and I could do so by phone. I'll never forget that another judge had ordered a court-ordered mediation on September 11th. And I'll never forget this. Eric Lent up there in Humboldt County. He was like some damn stupid, whatever, mediator person. But, honestly, he reeked of an undercover somebody. I don't know if he was undercover FBI. I don't know if he was undercover CIA. I don't know if he was just an undercover cop. But this Eric Lent reeked of somebody being undercover. Because I'll never forget when he told me that I had to mediate with, my son's father, which I know my son's father is considered by the government to be a terrorist, on September 11th. I knew that there was something wrong. And I'm like, okay, so who picked that date, Eric Lent? And he's like, the judge. Okay, so whatever. But, we got, okay, you say terrorism to me, and, I'm like, keep the hell away from these guys. And so, I mean, that would be anybody with common sense. And so when I'm reading this book, Comparative Legal Approaches to Homeland Security and Anti-Terrorism, I mean, you know, and it basically, you know, it talks about how these other countries, I mean, it says it in a very nice and professional academic way, it talks about how the United States is significantly far behind when it comes to terrorism in comparison to what other countries do. I mean, you know, I just couldn't even believe some of the stuff that has happened to me. But this is, like I said, it's an excellent, excellent read. It's about $100. You can get it anywhere. I got it Amazon Prime. It is in Kindle edition, but I like to have the real book, because I do a lot of cross-referencing and so forth. This is the second time that I've owned this book. Okay, so the first copy that I had got ripped off most recently down in McAllen, Texas. You know, I got that whole corrupt McAllen police scandal, corrupt Harlingen police scandal, in which Border Patrol and then eventually Border Intelligence had to step in. I'll never forget that. I went, had this horrible situation happen. Agent Trevino, U.S. Border Patrol agent, helped me that night. And then I was getting screwed over by this domestic violence shelter and all their damn corrupt little cop friends and their, you know, little corrupt police department. I mean, I'm a victim of terrorism, dude. I mean, I gave the Harlingen police, you know, the name of, you know, Special Agent Paul Burkholder, who's with Homeland Security Investigations in Houston. You know, I told him I had this Homeland Security letter. You know, I just didn't have it on me because I was being kidnapped by a sex trafficker, drug trafficker with a gun, you know? I mean, hello. But anyway, so I went over, after the cops screwed me over, and then I went over, and I wanted to talk to Border Patrol a little bit more about the situation, especially since the cops were just being assholes. You know, a couple Border Patrol agents that I'd stopped and I'd asked directions to, you know, they even said, these are like, how come the police never call us? You know, and I'm like, well, shoot, that question answers itself, because all the cops are so far up, you know, the FBI's ass from my, you know, my standpoint. They're all damn corrupt. So many of them are damn corrupt. I mean, if you're a cop, I tell you, I have a Homeland Security Special Agent. I mean, I have a lot of them. But if I tell you I have one, you know, if I give you his name, and especially if I give you his phone number, I expect you to damn call him. You know, because stuff happens to me all the time. I don't expect you to, like, you know, be corrupt with the other cops in the next county over, and I don't expect you to be corrupt with the FBI, but that's what always happens. But this is the reason why this is the second time that I have owned this book. Oh, and like I said, Border Patrol down in Harlingen, Texas, boy, they were pissed. But at least I got to talk to somebody with intelligence, which is unfortunately not the police. But this is a little bit more advanced than the other book that I talked about, Terrorism and Homeland Security by Jonathan R. White. This is more advanced, so you'd have to have somewhat of a basic understanding of terrorism in general, and then be able to sort of think outside the box and be able to compare different approaches to, you know, how you treat terrorism, how you treat people, how you treat victims within the United States, and what's being done legally about the whole issue. But like I said, you can get it on Amazon Prime. Excellent book. It's about $100. And you know, anybody tries to steal this book, like I said, I don't want to come home from work tomorrow or any other day after and have my book gone. All right, because if I come home and this book is gone, I'm calling 1-866-DHS to ICE, and I'm calling all my agents. Because, you know, I am sick of people stealing my stuff. And basically what it boils down to, and especially when it comes to this corrupt law enforcement crap, is that they would not want somebody like me to be more intelligent than them. So that's another reason why they're always stealing my stuff. They're either stealing my nursing stuff, or they're stealing my terrorism stuff, especially when it comes to any kind of, like, legal stuff, when it comes to Homeland Security or law enforcement approaches and all that. You steal my shit, cops. You steal my shit, FBI. You steal my shit, CIA. I'm calling Homeland Security, so I'm forewarning you. And if you come after me, I'm blasting your ass with a stun gun. So anyway, that's tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Get this great book, and I'll see you next time.